And now your host, Nick Buckin.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another great LTS show. I am your host, Bodkins, of course. It is Monday night. Man, we have got a great show lined up tonight. If you missed yesterday morning show, it was quite fun. We talked a little UFC. We talked a little bit of everything, really. Talked Johnny Cruz's awful top five of his 5 number 1 overall quarterbacks that, somehow he didn't have Peyton Manning on that list. This is quarterbacks who went number 1 overall. So if you want to check out that awful list and our recap of UFC 292, check out yesterday morning show. But we are tonight, you guys know we're going to have Jonathan Grishman come on in the second half. First hour, we'll be having Jim Biringer come on. We're going to talk a little college football. On his way out, he gave us a nice teaser for the week as well. He wanted to talk a little bit All Out at Wembley, AEW All Out. So he mentioned that last week. So we're going to jump in all to that tonight. I'm excited. It's Monday. We're just about 3 weeks away from football. We'll be still doing the shows during Monday Night Football, kind of not really like a watch along, but just kind of talking about the games and life, and we'll be recapping Sunday's game. So look forward to that. This Thursday, we'll be breaking down the AFC West division with our guy, Bo Talks Football. So please tune in for that as well. But let's go ahead and bring in the guys. Johnny, what's up, my man? Yeah, Tanner, this is where you're supposed to bring Johnny Cruz in. I say Johnny.
Dang, he just shots at everybody, right? Just shitting on my list. Peyton Manning, I had him number 2 on my list, bro. He was number 2. He was on the list. How you not gonna have
I know he was on the list. I know he's on. It's good to see you.
You just hated on my Mike Vick being on my top 5.
That's
what it was. And again, it was my favorite number 1 overall picks. It wasn't the best. It wasn't, Hall of Fame. It wasn't none of that shit. It was just my favorite 5. And Mike Vick was fun to watch, bro.
If you wanted to go like entertaining purposes, there might not be in our lifetime. Mike Vick might be one of the top 5 most.
Well, there's gonna be a most entertaining one, and yes, Mike Vick would be on it. Randall would be another one that would be on it as far as entertaining. So that one's coming. This was just my number 1 overall picks, quarterbacks. So.
I got you. In the spirit of our fantasy draft that is still currently going on, man, we might be into halfway through next
week 3
year
of the season draft.
I mean, Jesus. You guys just need to get on it. Get on it, folks. It is, slower than stink on shit. So, speaking of shit, the guy's been away wiping baby shit and everything else the last few days. Give it up for Mr. First Down Sam.
Jump on it. Get on it. Nick, shut the fuck up.
What's up? How are you going to curse like that when you have a newborn son in the world? You're just out here cursing, saying the F word.
Hey, none of my kids are listening to me anyway, so.
Get used to that, bro.
Yeah.
I'm getting there.
It starts now, and it doesn't change.
It's just one name doesn't do it, right? Like Bonnie. You have to say it like 18 times to get them to turn around and look at you. Please don't do that. Please. So, how we doing?
You have to get the whole middle name in there, So.
Oh yeah. I should do it in the old Southern voice, like they work on a farm. Bonnie K. Dane, get your cows need a milking and eggs need a hatching.
Exactly.
Shut up.
Exactly.
I need to go to bed.
Eggs need a hatchet.
Baby's doing good, Sam. Baby's doing good.
Baby's doing good. He's asleep a mere 5 feet from me now. He opened his eyes finally today, and then I said, "Hey, I see your eyes," and then he promptly shut them. So he's on his way to stardom by not listening to me. So
well, he doesn't want to look at you just because he doesn't want to see how ugly he could possibly be since you're his daddy. So I don't blame the kid.
Nobody wants that. Trust me, I don't want it. Nobody.
Well, speaking of things that nobody wants, let's bring in our own Hall of Famer, Mr. Scott Coe.
God
what did I walk into tonight, by the way? Is this
dropping elbows off the top ropes on everybody, boy?
Wow. Bring Tanner in too.
Please. So he's got the
Tanner, come on the show. We got to talk business here. Do I get a free ticket to the Brewers Padres game this week if I take this trade?
What do you want?
He wants a ticket to the game.
Hey, we're not out here negotiating fantasy stuff.
Tanner, you're on the clock. I just accepted the trade. So.
Oh shit!
I'm in.
All right. Scott, who we bet on tonight? And I'm in base. We got to only be betting on baseball, right?
Yeah, this will be pretty much the last
Sam's
week.
Sam's gonna fall asleep on air.
Okay. Hey, the Yankees will not lose tonight. Guaranteed.
So the
Yankees will not lose tonight.
So I took the Cubs, the Braves, and the Mariners.
That's not looking so good right now, Scott. The Cubs.
The Cubs are about to blow it to the Tigers.
We were up like 5-0, and now it's 6-5. So
they just scored in the top of the ninth to go up 6-5 because they were up 5-2 in the eighth. So the Braves aren't looking so good. They're losing to the Mets. So that's not looking good. But two or three, if the Cubs can hold on, 2 or 3 is pretty good. 67%, I'm happy. So, and I put
you got stuff for tomorrow. Or you can give it to us at the end of the show.
I'll give it to you at the end of the show. I was busy with this draft, and Tanner, by the way,
how can you be busy, Scott, with the draft? If people are taking 8 hours to take one fucking pick, I mean, Jesus.
I got like about 8,000 other drafts going on right now. I'm not just.
Nick, could you not?
Hey, the LTS draft is supposed to take priority over any other draft.
Other lawn drafts going on at the same time too.
I don't know. I can't do it. I am too impatient for these long drafts. Like I want to get in there. It's like sex. I want to get in there, get it out, get it out. I ain't got time to,
it's hot, Bobby. It's hot, man.
I ain't got time.
126 degrees today. Feel like temperature.
I want to wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, and get in and out.
I will say
8 minutes, 20 seconds. We got a sex joke, everybody.
Tanner and Nick, welcome to the D+ club with me. We're all.
Is that what we got on our grades? I was going to ask you guys in the group.
I wasn't there this morning.
He blew bubble gum and it got in his hair, Bobby.
D+, you said?
D+.
I'll take it. I'll take it, baby.
Take it.
Oh, actually, Nick, I'm sorry. You got a D-, not a D+.
Hey, D's get degrees. I told you guys that last night. D's get degrees, baby. That's how your boy got a college education. I want to ask you guys before we bring in Jim and everything. It was Jonathan Taylor is now able to seek a trade.
The Dolphins are reporting. The Dolphins are reporting going after
Panthers too.
They link everybody to the Dolphins
right away.
It might be possible depending on what's going on with A-Chain because it's a shoulder, and that's something that is just not good for a running back to have a shoulder problem. So
but the Dolphins aren't, Johnny. The Dolphins aren't going to give up a first-round pick for Jonathan Taylor, right?
No, they're not.
No. Or a second or multiple.
I don't think they'll give up a 2 either. They'll give up a 2 if they'll take like Cedric Wilson's contract. You know what I'm saying? If they'll take that as part of the trade. Or Remy, Bobby. You remember Remy from
I thank God for every day I have in the force.
Although
I keep my whole life to the core.
Although
you remember Remy from Higher Learning?
Johnny, can we mention your dumb owner by name?
Sure.
Stephen Ross screwed them out of a first-round pick this year. So don't be surprised if he says, I'm trading a first rounder to Indy for Jonathan Taylor.
He's not going to do it. He's not.
You got it. But Scott, they didn't want to pay Dalvin Cook money.
That's what I'm saying. We could have gotten Dalvin Cook just for money. Right.
Then you got to not only are you going to trade,
you got to pay him.
Then you got to pay him.
You got to pay him.
I think any trade that happens with Jonathan Taylor, there has to be a contract worked out before the trade finalizes. Yeah. So they'll give him 48 hours to try to work out some kind of deal with the new prospective team that he's going to. That's probably the way it's going to go with this.
Yeah, and the Dolphins ain't going to trade draft picks. They're already short. We lost a 3rd round pick this year because of the knucklehead Stephen Ross you just mentioned. We lost our 1st last year and our 3rd round this coming in 2024. They're not going to give up a 1st or 2nd round pick for a running back. They like this Chris Brooks kid out of BYU. And there's also Lenny out there. So I think they would go after Fournette before they traded, or even Kareem Hunt. They would do something like that before they wasted draft picks and so much money, because Jonathan Taylor wants top money, and they didn't want to give Dalvin Cook fucking $7 million. You think they'll give Jonathan Taylor that money? No, they ain't gonna do it.
No, I don't think so. So this is from the cokehead owner that said a week ago, we're not trading Jonathan Taylor. He's not going anywhere. And now all of a sudden, a week later, he turns around and says, "Go ahead."
Because you know what it is, and this is why the phone's not going to be ringing. Like, I know you guys are saying there's teams, but once they hear the asking price, a first or 2 seconds for Jonathan Taylor, and then you got to pay him, those teams are gonna hang the fuck up, because we already seen it. Dalvin Cook, Dalvin Cook, Austin Eckler, all those guys when they were up for negotiating for trade.
Saquon wound up having to take a bad deal.
Yeah, the phone never rang.
Right.
So you know what they said? Go ahead, JT. This is our asking price. Find a team that wants to trade for you. They're not going to find a trade partner, I don't believe. Tanner, what's your thoughts here? Or go ahead, Sam.
I was hoping somebody would find a joke for the postman rings twice, but none for Jonathan Taylor or something like that. But I couldn't fit it together. But yeah, what do you guys think about the Panthers making it? I told you I need sleep, guys. I need it. I need it bad. So what's your thoughts on the Panthers making that move?
Well, here's the thing. What team is going to give up a first-round pick right now, 2 weeks before the season starts? Nobody's going to give up a first-round pick.
Or multiple picks. Multiple, and pay him. Not only, that's the thing. It's not only
the $16 million. Yeah.
You got to pay. He wants a contract extension, so then you're going to have to pay him now and more.
Right.
Yeah, but if you're I agree with you, by the way. I don't think they're going to do it. I just think Panthers, because I feel like that division they try to win
just paid Miles Sanders, though. They're not going to go out and
not only that, but they just dealt with the Christian McCaffrey deal and then wound up having to trade him. I don't see them going down that road again.
Yeah, I think they're still paying him money.
It might be.
Yeah.
Thank God. Sorry I said anything. Jeez.
No, it's fine. Just think before you speak.
Wow. Why?
Sorry, Nick is rubbing off on people. Nick is rubbing off on people.
You know what, Johnny? You off the boat. Tanner, kick him out.
Tanner, what's your thoughts here on the JT trade?
Very interesting, but I don't think nothing happens because there's no market for it, right? So there's nothing that's going to happen until closer to trade deadline. So
I don't think it happens then, unless there's a team that is close. It's like, man,
right?
Yeah.
A team that really needs a running back. Lost maybe 2 running backs beginning of the season.
Right. I could see
go after him, but that'd be it.
I could see maybe the Bills, if they realize Cook's not the guy, or he gets hurt and they need a running back. But man, I don't see them giving up 2 first. Like,
look at Minnesota. Madison, Chandler ain't going to carry your team. Minnesota could be a team that if they start 4-1, 3-0, like that might be a move they make if they're struggling in the rushing game.
Here's the other question. Here's the other question. If they don't trade Jonathan Taylor, under 12 games this year for him.
I do the over.
Over.
I think so.
He's gonna play because he's not gonna want to lose any money.
He did say
he has to play.
He ain't playing.
If Josh Jacobs is playing, Taylor's gonna play.
Yeah.
They always say they're not going to play until they start getting fined and start losing money.
Well, he's already been getting Josh Jacobs, Tanner Sky, Clark has been getting. They're all getting fined. Anytime you're not in training camp and you're not there, you're getting fined. Now,
Josh Jacobs is not getting fined. He hasn't signed his franchise tender.
He didn't sign his franchise, so he didn't. Get fined.
That's right. Clark is getting.
Oh wow.
Clark is getting fined.
No. Chris Jones.
Chris Jones. Yeah, Chris Jones. Sorry.
Frank Clark is Bronco now.
Yeah. I get him confused for every time for some reason. But Chris Jones is getting fined. But the team can waive the fines. Yeah, they can waive.
Yeah. I think they implemented some kind of rule though now.
Not
that
anymore.
They
can't waive them.
Yeah. Only there's like one out in it to where they can get paid, But for the most part, no. There's no reimbursement. There's no making it up if they miss it. They put the owners put that in there to force the players to have to show up. But all they got to do is do the whole hold-in where they come show up. But I'm not good enough. I can't practice though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's why guys like J.K. Dobbins, who held out, he has no leverage. He's got to come in. He's zero leverage. So,
correct.
Jonathan Taylor has almost zero leverage in this. He has to hold in.
He had more leverage last year at this time than he does at this time this year.
That's true. After an injury-riddled season.
He had an injury-riddled season. He rushed for less than 1,000 yards. He only rushed for 800 yards and I think 4 touchdowns. And
that was also, but you got to remember 800 yards on 14 games, 13 games. So he did his part. Again, it sucks because he's on a crappy team, and it's going to look bad on him in the end.
Yeah.
Totally.
If you want the big time contract, you have to play. You do.
Correct.
You
have to produce,
especially at that position. At that position, they got to play. You got to perform. That's why Saquon said he signed the deal. I had to sign the deal. I'm gonna go out and prove myself and just try to have a monster year.
Yeah, but again, he could have just signed a franchise tag, man. He took that deal, and now if the Giants want to be shady, they still got 2 years that they can franchise tag him. I mean, I don't think they'll do that. I would hope they don't do that, but
the money increases.
He basically did them a favor. He did them a solid. Like, why would you help them out?
Yeah, and to Matt's comment, that's why Eckler didn't hold out, because he knows if he holds out, he's not making the money.
They told him, the Chargers told him and his agent, hey, go seek a trade, see what you can find. Guess what? The phone never rang.
Nothing.
Never rang.
Nope. And I would take Austin Eckler over Jonathan Taylor. If I was a winning team for 1 year, the future, I could see Jonathan Taylor. But give me Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler's a better receiver, a better running back. I would take Austin Eckler over Jonathan Taylor.
Exactly. I agree. Yeah, I agree.
And he's still really effective.
Right.
A really effective player.
Yeah.
It's just let me ask you guys this. We'll go down the line here. What's the percentage that you give Jonathan Taylor to be traded? Go ahead, Johnny. 0%.
Yeah, I don't think he gets traded, bro. Nobody's going to pay the price for it unless the Colts are willing to give him away for a 3rd or 4th round pick. And again, that team is still going to have to pay him. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see any team that's, again, if they didn't go after Dalvin Cook or some of these other free agents, you could have gotten Austin Eckler for a lot less than what the Colts want for Jonathan Taylor. I just don't see it happening, man. I don't. Unless we have some drastic injuries, to some major guys, which knock on wood, hopefully we don't. I just don't see a team paying that price, because, like you said, it's not just what you're trading. Instead of having to turn around and pay the man right away as well.
Scott, what's your thoughts?
So I'll give you 2 different ones. Before the season starts, 0%. Before the trade deadline, 10%. There's always a team that comes out of the woodwork, out of the dark, and all of a sudden trades for them. So don't be surprised if during the season, as Tanner alluded to, that up near the trade deadline, that some team comes out of nowhere and offers the Colts kind of what they want, but not totally what they want. And the Colts say, okay, we're going to take it. We need to get rid of him. Because I think he's going to be a problem for them this year. I really do.
That's why they told him to go away. Just go ahead. We don't want your problems.
Yeah, so I firmly believe there's a team like Tanner mentioned, Minnesota, or an NFC team that's that one piece away from making a deep playoff run that says, let's go get Jonathan Taylor and let's bring him in and let's see if we can win with him. So,
Sam, what's your percentage that Jonathan Taylor gets traded?
I'm at a nice 30% because Jimmy Percocet is their owner. So I just feel like this. What
I was gonna say, Jimmy Percocet is the one that said he wasn't gonna trade him. Not now, not October, but I guess in between that is August. So he forgot that month. So as long as it wasn't when he said it or October, Jimmy's not lying.
I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm just saying there's always that chance because he is a little erratic. And then he can write a big long tweet about how he was letting him go because it's what the player wanted, and I'm such a great owner, and blah blah blah. I could see him totally doing that.
Well,
but no, I don't think he goes anywhere.
Yeah, well, remember when Peyton left, he said that the Colts will win like 2 Super Bowls before, again, and they're still waiting. So, as a Titans fan, you don't want Jonathan Taylor in the division anyway. So, I mean, you probably hope he gets traded, yeah.
Sure, don't. But I haven't been terrible against him. So, I mean, he's not Derrick Henry. Toot toot, beep beep, hit my own horn. You know what I'm saying?
Man, listen, Jim Irsay, we're going to trade you to the Minnesota Vikings for a first-round
draft pick. Hey, Jim felt bad after the Dolphin died, so that's why he said, "Go ahead and seek a trade." You know, he didn't have
all that money in the world. Can't say that Dolphin.
After the whale died, he just said, "Go ahead, Jonathan. Go ahead, seek a trade." I mean, he's in mourning. Tanner, what percentage are you giving the Jonathan Taylor trade?
Scott gave you 2. I'll give you 3.
Oh, okay.
The season starts here, these next 2 weeks, there is a 15% chance he gets traded. After the season starts between week 1 and 3, there is a 20% chance it happens. And then after week 3, so week 4 to the trade deadline, we bump up to a solid 40% chance.
That's almost 50% chance you think he gets traded.
Never tell me the odds.
Between 3 or between 4 and the trade deadline.
The trade deadline is what, week 8, 9?
Yeah.
Like that?
Week 8 or 9 now. Yeah, they moved it back. It used to be early.
Yeah. I think
all right. I think your percentage jump up a bunch.
I give it 3%, and that's just the whole now, fucking time.
This is assuming we're trading him not to take a new deal, right? This is
he wants a new deal. I'm saying
that's fine. He might want a new deal, but he's still going to play on his current deal, and the other team might still trade for him, but they may not pay him anyways.
His agent's going to tell him we want a new deal before, you know what I mean? They're going to have to work out a new deal before the trade. That's the only reason he doesn't want to be a Colt.
But Jonathan Taylor allows exploration. The Colts make the final decision.
Right.
We got to remember this.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Whether or not Taylor wants to go there, Taylor's going there. So
I see what you're saying.
No doubt.
I got a question, and we can ask this of Jim too. If you can pick the team to put him on, what team would you put him on?
Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota.
And Nick, you mentioned Buffalo.
Yeah, I mean,
that'd be a scary thought about Buffalo, man.
Yeah,
get out of here, dude.
I don't see it ever happening.
Yeah,
but that would suck. That would suck.
Tanner's hatred of Buffalo is just—it's so funny.
James Cook and Damian Harris.
So damn
you don't
upset.
need nothing else over there.
If Buffalo didn't entertain signing Hopkins or Dalvin Cook, why in the world would they even pay Jonathan Taylor?
That's true. That's true. You make a point. You make a point. Good point, Scott.
That wasn't the point of the question. The question just was if you could put him on any team, what team would you put him on? Well, not whether or not they would want to trade for him. I'm just saying.
Well, let's look up stuff before we talk.
I think Buffalo would be scary.
How about this team?
Scary.
Why would you put Buffalo? They're gonna have James Cook, Damian Harris, and Jonathan Taylor.
Well, I mean,
we've already seen exploration of
Damian Harris. But if you got Jonathan Taylor and James Cook, that's a pretty nasty one too.
You don't know. You're not the Bengals, all right?
What about Dallas?
Dallas makes sense. That's a Jerry move.
I could see.
I like that.
Yeah. I think he stays at
the has 2 backs. What about Seattle? They're one piece away.
They already got 2.
They got Walker
injured.
Yeah,
2 injured guys.
Walker's not injured. They're just bubble taping like Pacheco. All right, he's fine. He's fine.
But I wonder if Pete Carroll, the king of competition, would say, "Let's bring him up here. Let's throw him."
I don't see that. I don't see it.
See everybody leave.
Hey, before we bring Jim on, Johnny, go ahead and get us through this ad read here.
Underdog.
All right, let me let our guy over at Owner's Box. The Owner's Box Daily Fantasy app. I'm always going to go opposite of what you say, Sam. So just
I'm an owner.
The Owner's Box Daily Fantasy app. Make sure you use the promo code LTS, and they will match your first deposit, up to $500. More chances to win because they have more games. Again, it's Owner's Box Daily Fantasy app. Make sure you use the promo code LTS, and they will match your first deposit up to $500. That's still crazy to me, bro. $500. So you don't have to put down $500. You know, you can put down $1, $2, $50, whatever you want, but they'll match it all the way up to $500. So take advantage of that. Make sure you use the promo code LTS.
All right, and with this guy, we got a big wrestling event this Sunday. All Out in Wembley, AEW All Out in Wembley. We'll be talking a little college football with him as well in the back end. But he gave us a teaser as he was going off air last week, so we always got to bring him back in. You guys know it is. He covers full press hockey and wrestling. And man is a mind of all things. He's a Renaissance man. Give it up for Jim Biringer, baby.
Yeah.
Jim,
what is up?
Jim, what's up, my man?
He's not in his box. He's not
in my box. What's up, boy? How you doing?
Jim, use my box?
There he is.
There he is. You left us last week with the teaser of you have some opinions about AEW all in. Is it all in or all out? I don't know.
But all in, and then it's all out. All in.
Okay,
which I still don't understand why they're running 2 shows back to back. But
me neither, Jim. Me neither. Doesn't make sense.
So I left you guys with a teaser last week. I have a big time problem with this card. Okay, everybody knows. Everybody said I was always an AEW homer. I'm not a homer. At first they were really good. They're still good, but I have some criticisms with this card. And my biggest criticism is they need another big time match on this card. Like, let's be honest. MJF Adam Cole, it's great. That for me is not a headline match, not on a big pay-per-view like this. This is all in Wembley Stadium, right? This should have been what Forbidden Door 2 was, right? You want to have big-time matches on a big-time stage. I'm not going to say the card's not going to be good. I'm not going to say that the show's going to be good. It's probably going to be a great show. They always are. But to me, Wembley Stadium, I think you should have brought in a ton of promotions, like do a collab here at Wembley, all in, like the first one back at...
I feel like they're doing that a little bit. They're bringing in Ospreay, Jericho... We're getting that. We're getting.
I mean, yeah, but I'm saying like you bring in some Impact guys, you bring in like JCW guys, more New Japan guys. I think you could have had this card. I know it stinks that Danielson. See, if Danielson doesn't get hurt, my understanding is it would have been Kenny Omega, Danielson 2 at Wembley, which would have been okay. That's to me, that's like a banger. That's like your headline match there. And I know a lot of people wanted to see Ospreay Omega again for the title. Look,
you called that after Forbidden Door 2.
Right, and I think they're going to hold off on it just because what I saw Forbidden Door 2 being there, the crowd being taken out of that kind of a match wouldn't have been fair to everybody else on that card because I think people would have just been out of it. So have that. Okay, Ospreay Jericho is going to be great. Bucks and FTR is going to be good. But to me, I feel like you're missing. Still, there's something missing. Like, how come Okada's not on this card? How come somebody else big is not on this card? And I'm just waiting for it. But again, like I said off the top, it's tough to run 2 big shows like that back to back, considering, All Out is the following week in Chicago, which makes absolutely no sense.
Jim, my biggest gripe with this card is I just feel like it doesn't, I tell you all the time, I'm a big storyline guy. So I'm invested in, I love the MJF, Adam Cole, buddy thing that's going on. I love that face MJF. I love this situation. I'm bought into Young Buck, Bucks versus FTR, great. But after that, I just feel like it's shit thrown together. Like, why is like Ospreay and Jericho, like they just threw this together real fast. Like, there's not enough time. They didn't build the storylines for this awesome stadium, that we're going to have. This is supposed to be where they're building this as the biggest wrestling event of all time, but yet there's no blow-offs, right? It's just shit thrown together. I guess you got a little bit of storyline with Sting and Darby and Fox and them. Like, but outside of that, like the Blackpool Combat, that's them 3 and 3 other guys. We have no idea who it's going to be. Why are they fighting best friends in Penta? We don't really have an answer. You know what I mean? Like,
I do. Tony freaking Khan. There's your answer.
But here's the deal.
I think there's no blow up of the storylines.
I agree, but here's what I think they should do. They made a big deal a month and a half ago about how Sting and Jericho had never wrestled against each other, had never, ever done this, and they've been in this wrestling business. Why don't you do Sting versus Jericho?
I would rather have that than Jericho versus
I would have been okay with that. I would have been okay with that.
Too.
I wouldn't have had no problem with Jericho Sting because that's going to sell. That's your big time marquee matchup. Two guys that never fought against each other. I would have been fine with Sting and Jericho. Look, I think the big issue with Ospreay was because he was in the G1 Climax. Like, that was the problem. G1 Climax was all summer. They couldn't get him over here. Like, he's wrestling, like, the whole time. Like, he made it to semifinals or something at G1 Climax. So that's kind of tough. Also, I was reading, again, you got to be careful dirt sheets and interviews and how people interpret things. Like, Tony Khan said he didn't expect it to be as big as it BS. Like, the dude announced Wembley Stadium after Forbidden Door, like before Forbidden Door 2. Like, he knew how big it was going to get. But again,
when you see it getting to 40,000, 50,000, you got to stop and say, whoa, this is going to be big. We've got to throw some big matches together here and make it memorable for people. The only way it is memorable is if there's a surprise reveal someplace, like a huge name or like an Edge or something like that.
Well, here's the deal. I think, and I've heard that Danielson might be returning. Santana Ortiz might be on the side of the Blackpool Combat Club. So you get tag team return. Maybe Edge goes AEW now that his contract's quote unquote over.
I give that 5% chance.
So do I. I give it a 5% chance, but you never know. Tony Khan could give out the one-time retirement match for Edge and Christian, go at it one more time. But the issue, like I said, the issue for me is, you have stuff that can continue over into All Out, like Jay White and Kenny Omega probably fight the following week in Chicago. Like, you have Punk and Joe for Real World's title, but it's like, okay, this feels just like a regular pay-per-view card, and this is Wembley Stadium. Remember when the first All In was announced, 2018, like, big time names. It was huge. It set up so much stuff, and to me, I think, like, you're gonna have All In, great, but then don't have All Out in Chicago. Or have it weeks later. You could still have it September, but
build
just
up
have
the
it weeks later.
storylines, Jim. That's my biggest gripe with AEWs. They just don't. I mean, sometimes WWE. I'm like, what the fuck is going on with the storyline? But at least they got something. Sometimes
at least it's there.
No storylines, and they just throw some shit together and says, "Here's Sting in a coffin match because that sounds cool." So you're just like, "All right, yeah."
There is. I mean, if you go back into it, right? Jay White and Kenny Omega have history in New Japan, but you have to know about it. Like, you have to be a hardcore guy to know about it. So that's where, like, the Golden Elite and Bullet Club Gold come in. Like, that rivalry's there. Takeshita, like, and Omega, like, those guys are together. They probably will fight because Don Callis, like, all that stuff, if you've been paying attention. FTR and the Young Bucks go back to when these guys were in separate companies, tearing it up on the Indies and NXT. Like, those guys have been tied. I think
that's going to be the match of the
absolutely.
FTR and Bucks. I that's the one match, like, I want to tune in and watch. Like, I'm all in on that match. Like again,
no pun intended, right?
Yeah.
No pun intended.
All in.
Are we 100% sure FTR is showing up? Is going to wrestle?
FTR is cleared to go.
Yeah,
they cleared to go. Okay.
They didn't take his passport or nothing in that event.
Yeah, he has no criminal history. It's a road rage incident, but again, being stupid on the road. Like, he's got to be careful. I mean, this time, I mean, like, dude, I know it was back in July, but still, you're a month away from the biggest event of your career. Like, let's go and be smart about things.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm
talking about NFL players.
Yeah, I was about to say NFL players, like, dude.
Freaking rookies.
I mean,
unbelievable.
The one question I have,
or just standard Raiders player,
Are they turning Jericho into a face now since him and Callis are at odds? That's what I thought.
Yeah, Jericho's babyface run is coming now in the company. He's been there long enough where it's time for a babyface run. He's been a heel since the company started.
He had a little babyface run when it was him and MJF, right? Remember that? And like they made him go through all these like 8 things before he could wrestle MJF.
Yeah, I mean, but it was still kind of like, I mean, I know the Inner Circle were like baby faces at the time, but everybody knows them as heels. So like this is going to be like a true babyface singles run for Jericho. And look, I love Ospreay. I just don't know if Jericho's proven me wrong about a lot of things.
How much does he have left in the tank? Yeah, that's
to go with Will Ospreay. I mean, to go with Ospreay to come off what he did with Kenny Omega, like Jericho, they better do something special because Ospreay can go in the ring, man.
I love Jericho on the stick, but I don't know how much more he's got left in the ring. Now, Jericho 5-10 years ago versus Ospreay would have been a hell of a match. I would have been looking forward to it, but I'm just not looking forward to that match at all. I
think there's a Don Callis coming running.
Oh yeah, there'll probably be there. Yeah, there'll be some interference in that match. Absolutely,
no doubt.
What's the one match you're not looking forward to, Jim? And what's the match that you could you think that, or what's the one big surprise you could see happening?
Oh man, the one. What else is on that card? I gotta look it up now to see what's on that card.
3 matches on that card, though, haven't they?
No, they've got
they're getting to. It's funny if you watch the promotions now. They're going back when AEW first came in. There was like 5 matches on a card, and they were long and they were great. Yeah. And WWE had 20 matches on a card, and they weren't all that great, and they were short. Now it's going back. Hunter's now made WWE where it's 6 matches on a card or 7 matches on a card, long and great. Let's get as many people on the card as we can.
I'll give you a hot take after Jim goes.
All right, so I definitely want to see Stadium Stampede because I saw the first Stadium Stampede at Daly's Place when it was COVID. So and that was a really cool match. To see it now with people, I actually want to like see what these guys can do in like a big stadium like that. So to me, that's like kind of one of the big matches for me. And who comes in that match? As far as a match, I don't care to see. I mean, Golden Elite and Bullet Club Golden Takeshita is cool. I mean, it's a cool trios match, but I mean, Punk, I'd like to see his reaction over there. But as far what I'm looking at right now, I mean, look, the 4-way women's match is going to be good, just because of the storyline there.
Too? Yeah.
Saraya, Toni Storm. I wish Jamie Hayter was healthy because, man, her reaction in Wembley would have been great. Maybe she shows up and costs one of them the title and allows Shida to keep the belt. That would be kind of cool to see. The main event's going to be good. My only issue is they're wrestling on a pre-show, too. So I'm seeing them twice already, and they're going up against RC Open, so I guess we're going to get more of that storyline. But, yeah, I think that's my only gripe is that they're wrestling on the pre-show of this thing. Maybe you could have waited to have that match the following week, too, or something, or do it already, just to prolong, because we know it looks like Adam Cole is going to be the one that turns on MJF, and MJF's going to go to babyface mode.
I'm all for it.
I'm all for it too.
I honestly think that Moxley is out of the Blackpool Combat Club after this pay-per-view. I think him and Kingston are gonna go together because there's history with them together, and there's already been a little tease and a little in terms of Moxley and Kingston.
Well, something's gonna happen here because if these two guys get in the ring and go against each other and whatever he was saved by Eddie Kingston and in the big match, the Blood and Guts match, and you go back to Forbidden Door where these two guys just went all at each other in the ring. Yeah, I agree. I think something's going to happen there. Again, is Danielson coming back? What about Santana Ortiz, Pride and Powerful? They were booked for something. They were pulled, so it appears that they're going to be in London.
But
again,
before they went off, I know Santana got hurt,
right.
But they were having like Santana before that was like talking about leaving the company, and there's a rift between him and Ortiz.
Yeah, but I think if they're coming back as heels, then that would make sense that these guys are going to be heels and they're going to run the tag team division again, like they should have been from the start because they're one of the best tag teams in the world. So I would have liked that.
Do we see Danielson out of the Blackpool Combat Club too? Because he gets babyface pops every time he comes out.
He is. He's just a natural babyface. I believe.
He's just a natural babyface, but he's a great heel too. I mean, again, look, when you were at Forbidden Door, he had to be out of the Blackpool Combat Club for a while because of the feud with Okada and all that with Final Countdown. Again, does he show up? Does he interfere in this match? It's Stadium Stampede. There are no rules, so he could show up and help out. Again, I'm interested to see who those other members did they get to help them out. Imagine if they get like House of Black or something like that to help them out. I mean, that would be
crazy.
That would be crazy, right? Like that would be kind of cool to see. But again, I that's what I'm looking forward to see who these partners are, because maybe Tony Khan figures out a way to get some big names into that match. I don't know.
He has to. He has to. For all these people going to the event, he's got to come up with something big. He can't.
All right, Jim. Oh, go ahead. Give me a prediction at the main event. Is it and new? Is Adam Cole the new champ, AEW champ, or is it MJF still holds the Triple B?
I think MJF's still the champion.
Yeah, I agree. They have to run him as a babyface champion and see how this goes.
Yeah, they got to run him. They still got to keep the belt on him. Look, I think Adam Cole as champion would be great, but I just don't know if it's now to do it. I don't know if you do the title switch now. I just think MJF's just too over right now, even as a babyface champion. I think you got gold with it right now, and he's got so many other. Plus, don't forget, look who's walking around with the real world title right now. So I think there's still something left with those two guys to finish. To combine the titles. I think you still got to go down that road, because don't forget, Full Gear 2022 was supposed to be CM Punk MJF before Brawl Out happened. So
gotcha. Well, we appreciate you always breaking down some wrestling, Jim. Let's get into some college football here. Oh, go ahead, Tanner.
I got one wrestling thing here because it's been talked about. We kind of talked about Sunday too. Does Edge go to AEW? Is that what we're hearing?
No.
I mean, that's the rumor. I mean, look, he ended the show. Final show in Toronto. He said after the event was over, this was his final match in front of that crowd. Does he come back as for one-offs like Brock Lesnar deal? Does he come for a couple matches? Does he go to AEW to get one final match with Christian, one final tag team match, Edge and Christian? I don't know. I think he's a WWE guy, though. Tony Khan made an offer to him before he went back. He just wanted to be a WWE guy. I mean, I could see it.
He did thank the WWE for giving him the opportunity and being able to meet his wife there and everything. He said some pretty sentimental things, so it'd be really
he did
kind of flip.
It'd be weird for him to go to AEW.
Yeah, I think he's
always done and gone through.
I give it like a 5% chance. I think he's a WWE guy. Always has been. It's wrestling, and that's the thing about professional wrestling is anything can fucking happen.
Right, exactly.
So I wouldn't be super shocked, but
the only reason he goes to AEW is to wrestle one final match with Christian.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
Possibly.
Other than that, he's not going. And I wonder if he's gone to Vince and say, Vince, look, I want my last match to be with Christian. Like Jericho did. Jericho always wanted Vince's, opinion on everything. Maybe Edge has done the same thing. I want one last match with Christian. I want to do a tag team and go out that way. Would you mind if I went to AEW and did a one match with Christian and that's it?
Or they figure out a way to do it like on an indie, like Edge and Christian on an indie event, like just big time indie event, against FTR or something. Like I think that would be the match I think everybody would want to see.
Yeah, he's got a connection with FTR.
He's got exactly. So, I think that would be the match people will want to see.
Yep.
I only give it about a 5% chance, though.
But I could see it on an indie, right? I mean, Nick, you could see it like on an indie event.
Yeah. Not like I don't see like a 5% chance that he signs an actual contract with AEW. Now, if they did like like a indie event or something crazy, yeah, I could see that happening.
Because isn't Christian over there too at AEW?
Yeah, he is.
Christian's in AEW, yep.
He thinks he's the TNT champion.
Oh, and he's not. The big dinosaur is. The big dinosaur is.
It's been a while, but he still thinks it. Okay.
Yeah.
Before we move off wrestling, Jim, just remember there's only one megastar it's got everybody saying. What are they saying, Jim? What are they saying?
With everybody saying L.A. Knight. Yeah.
Yeah, but here's a question. When are they going to start pushing a LA Knight for a title?
They are. I'm looking at the Raw clips that just came across the screen. It's not. We're in feud mode right now, but it's getting hot.
Him and Miz, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard
the pops are getting louder and louder.
I heard potential match at Payback could be Cena, LA Knight taking on Miz and Grayson Waller.
Wow. Ooh, I like it.
Right?
Wow. I like it.
I've got the vapors. Oh,
that would be a good. I like that. Look at
I could see Austin Theory because the Miz was pumping Austin Theory on SmackDown, Jim.
Yeah,
so I could see
I could see that too.
I really need Knight and Austin Theory to get. I feel like that's more of the feud I want. I don't hate the one of these with the Miz, but I really want that.
Well, he's getting the rub. He's getting the Miz rub, and
he's getting the rub. Yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah,
he's getting the rub. Take it. Because you saw it with MJF and CM Punk when they first did everything. You want to see if these guys can go on the mic. Can you perform in the ring? Like you're doing that right now with LA Knight and The Miz. The Miz is one of the best talkers in the game. LA Knight is showing he's one of the best talkers in the game. Let's see if they're on each other's level. Right now they are. All right, let's go.
Yeah.
You mentioned that. Let's get in some college football talk. Jim, is this still Alabama and Georgia's to lose? Everybody's high on Michigan as well.
Still, no matter what. No matter what.
And both those teams are looking for new quarterbacks, so.
Look, I think it's the SEC's title to lose until they don't have the championship. I mean, look. Georgia just named Carson Beck the starting quarterback. They're going for a three-peat. Here's a stat for you. The last team to three-peat, Minnesota Golden Gophers, 1930s. That's how long it's been since a three-peat.
I was in his 20s then. He can tell you all about it.
But, look. Man. Wow! That's why we call them the Monday Night Maniacs. My maniacs.
Before we went back,
Georgia,
we used to tie our knickerbockers up.
Yep. Look, Georgia's number one in the preseason poll. The first one's out. Does it really matter? No, but they're the national champions. Look, they have a good team. Look, the big thing for me is how that offense is going to run with Monken now in Baltimore. I mean, that offense right now on Monday night on an entertaining preseason Monday night game actually is looking really good with Josh Johnson as the quarterback for the Ravens. I want to see it with Lamar, but look, that's going to be interesting. Let's see what Kirby Smart does without his offensive coordinator. We saw Saban go through it for years. Like his coordinators went off left and right and they were still good. So I don't think they have a problem with that. But Alabama, see, that's the thing. Usually we know who the starting quarterback is in Alabama. We don't know it right now. They have question marks at the quarterback position. Look, I think LSU, you got to throw LSU's name in there right now.
Let them fall.
Because Brian Kelly's second year under Brian Kelly, look, they came out of nowhere last year. I think Brian Kelly and that offense and that defense, the Bayou Bengals are going to have a very good team. And I think it's either going to be Alabama or it's going to be LSU in the SEC West that's going to take on Georgia in the SEC title game.
We don't talk LSU around here because we got Jonathan Grisham getting ready to come on, and he's just already going to get all hyped up.
But I will say
he's already pumped.
That Florida State LSU game, opening weekend,
that's huge,
is going to be a huge game for LSU to determine where their season goes. If they lose to Florida State again, they might have a 10-2 season, but it's going to be that one loss that keeps them out.
Keeps them out of everything. Look, I mean,
college football this weekend, right?
Yeah, this is week zero. Week zero this weekend. The real season begins Labor Day weekend. I think everybody's ready for it. Yeah, everybody's ready for that game. That's going to be a huge game. TCU and Colorado that weekend as well. Coach Prime with the Buffs.
Some good matchups.
Let's see what Colorado does there. Pac-12, obviously it's the final year of the Pac-12 as it is. Let's see if USC can, win it. I think it's theirs to win. But again, Caleb Williams, Lincoln Riley, it's great. That offense is so good. But defensively, again, last year they were awful. They had multiple big-time leads and just could never just close a deal and have a big-time win. Their defense would always let teams back in a game. They never look great against Utah. And, Utah's bringing back Cam Rising, that offensive line, that defensive line. I think Utah's got to be in there. Oregon, Washington's still there too. I love it. You go to the Big 12, right? There's some reshaping there too. Anybody can win that. I know everybody's like, oh, Texas is back. Texas isn't back. Miami's not back.
Shot, baby.
Like Kansas, Kansas, we'll see. I want to see what Cincinnati does this year in there. TCU, obviously.
Oh, snap.
Oh, we lost it.
Tanner, you scum. You scum. He doesn't deserve that.
We're good.
Jeez.
We're good.
Jim,
never forget how I made you do that, says Tanner.
Jim, sorry about Tanner's Kansas talk. You didn't have to. I know that Tanner thinks it's basketball, not football, so he's just yelling out rock
we're in football now.
Washington is 10, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we see Washington as a top 10 team this year?
No. I don't see them as a top 10 team.
I don't either, so.
I don't see them as a top. Well, they have Florida State 8 right now and Clemson 9. So, it's a preseason poll. Penn State's up there. Look.
Is it my Hawkeyes 25, Jim? Did I read that right? Or was that like an old poll from like 1990?
No, Iowa's 25. How about the Green Wave? Tulane out of the American. First time in history at 24 in the preseason poll.
That's big. That's big too.
They got Iowa 25 because that's probably as many total points as to score all season. So, there's that.
Easily. Take the under on total points for Iowa this year. Even
the players are betting 25 unders, and that's why we're in trouble, Jim.
Hey, wait, Johnny, what was the app you guys were using, Daily Fantasy? If they got an over-under on Iowa points, take the under.
Owner's box, yeah.
Owner's box, baby, let's go.
Owner's box, we got underdog.
Take the under. Take the under.
Iowa's players were taking the under last year. Iowa's players were taking the under.
So low last year, you couldn't even bet it. That's how.
I know.
It was.
It's probably that low this year too. They have a.
We got a new quarterback. I banned all Iowa games last year. I didn't watch hardly any game until they got rid of Petrus, and the Petri dish is gone. So we got Michigan's old quarterback. So we'll see how it is. Maybe he can throw the football a little bit.
Maybe they'll score 13 instead of 7. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Michigan, Jim Harbaugh suspended for 3 games by the university for violations. So
off and rolling. Here we go.
Look, they play Fresno State, UNLV, and Bowling Green their first 3 home games. They'll be fun. They'll be fun.
Bowling Green.
They'll be fine with that.
Are you buying into Michigan, Jim? Are you buying in? Are we all? Are they winning the Big Ten again?
Look, it's gonna come for me. It's gonna come down to Ohio State, Michigan last week of this regular season, and like it always does, right? In the Big Ten East, you could throw Penn State in there too, but I just think Penn State's gonna fade. I think towards the end. I think it's Ohio State, Michigan, like it always is, and the winner goes to the Big Ten title game. And if they're undefeated, the winner's going to the playoff. And look, Michigan. Everybody said last year with Blake Corum and J.J. McCarthy and Donovan Edwards, and they're bringing them back, but they can't get past the semifinals. It was supposed to be a cakewalk for them against TCU. It wasn't, and they lost. Look, Ryan Day, they haven't won a Big Ten title since 2020. They haven't won a national title since the first time this thing got installed in 2014. So it's just been SEC dominance with Clemson thrown in there as well. So look, I wouldn't count out Nick Saban's Alabama Crimson Tide, because when you do, that's when Bama just starts rolling everybody. No, you can't. You can't. No way. But again, there are a lot of question marks there.
I'm out on Michigan because of last year. He can't win he cannot win the big game. He beats Ohio State, yes. He wins the Big Ten conference title game, yes. But when he gets into the playoff or he gets in a big time bowl game, he just can't win it. He can't. His coach, I don't know what it is about him, but TCU, he should have beaten them last year.
He should have definitely beat TCU. But TCU had a good team last year. But
TCU had a good team, but still Michigan needed to find a way to win that game. He just
because the problem is with Michigan last year, all they talked about was beating Georgia. All they talked about was they wanted revenge against Georgia. They didn't look at TCU. They needed to look at TCU, and that's what happened.
Then we wouldn't have got that boring ass national title game where it was 85-0. So
the game was over in the first quarter.
Yeah,
The game was over in the first quarter. The semifinal game with Ohio State was better. I mean, Georgia was pushed to the limit with Ohio State.
We'll get you out of here on this. Who do you got winning the Natty?
Damn.
Oh
Man.
You gotta have the
season.
I mean,
season hasn't even started yet.
Here, listen, Jim. Just do something with it.
You gotta have a preseason.
Give us every bowl game.
Yeah, right.
We got a guy,
Yeah,
we got
right.
a guy in the waiting room too. He's
I
gonna
really
get
want
really
that
upset
obscure
about
one with like
this.
4 different names. Sounds like a mall.
I mean, is
Bowl will be
it a cop out that I
Syracuse
say the
and
Bulldogs do the first time since the
No.
1930s we have a
All
three-peat?
right, Jim Biringer Bomb got the Bulldogs winning it.
He didn't
Go
pick that
Dogs.
many to beat.
Go down.
Go Dogs.
Hey, Jim,
Kirby and the
we
Dogs.
appreciate you. We appreciate you joining us every Monday, brother. We'll catch you next Monday. Talk a little bit of All Out, and we'll get some hockey news in next Monday.
Hey, next Monday, we're going to talk about 3 games for opening weekend of college football.
Oh,
You ready?
nice. All right.
You ready?
Oh wait! Before I get out of here, real quick. Djokovic, Alcaraz yesterday, Cincinnati Masters final. Wow, just wow, just
tweeted
wow! I
about that,
cannot
yeah.
wait for U.S. Open. It starts next Monday. I cannot wait for the U.S. Open.
U.S. Open's Monday. Okay.
Next Monday, let's go.
Yeah, Labor Day weekend, the week before Labor Day
I
starts.
guess that is.
Jim,
Yeah.
you're the ultimate Swiss Army knife, brother. We appreciate
you
you.
are,
We'll see you
man.
next Monday. See you.
Absolutely,
Thanks, Jim.
boys. Monday Night
ya,
Maniacs. Can't wait
Yeah.
to see you
See ya,
next
brother.
week, boys.
Have a good one, man. Be safe.
Peace. Be safe.
All right.
Two minutes.
Before we get bring in Jonathan, go ahead, Johnny, or get us through
It's
this next
underdog,
ad.
Johnny. You've got nowhere else to go. It's underdog, Johnny. It's all you got.
All right, so let me tell you about
Yeah.
Let me tell you about mybookie.com.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
you tell us about
that. Yeah,
No, damn
Nah,
it.
I'm messing with
Hey,
you.
that's
All
where
right,
that's where you bet the Iowa under at is on mybookie.com.
Right.
Talk
Hey, my
about
bookie
it.
has been doing me right with Scott's picks, man. So just
Ew.
leave him alone.
That
But
sounds
I'm here to
personal.
tell you about Underdog. Download the Underdog app or go to underdogfantasy.com. Make sure you use the promo code LTS. They will match your first deposit up to $100. They have the best ball drafts of all sports and, of course, all your daily fantasy drafts. That is the Underdog app or go to underdogfantasy.com. Use the promo code LTS for a matching first-time deposit of up to $100.
All
There you go,
right.
Sam.
We are in the dog days of baseball right now. we
Yes,
got to get through
we
this
are.
next. I mean,
you
it is
know, Nick.
I don't
you
even want to
know-
talk about this shit.
You know, we're not talking about baseball right now.
Bro, I went on a massive
You know
rant
exactly
on the
what we
Johnny
just got
Q show
done
about the damn
discussing here.
Yankees are garbage.
I know exactly what the first topics aren't going to be baseball. This first 10 minutes is all going to be about LSU and Tulane.
Yeah.
Nah, we're just
Tulane,
gonna mute
that's
the.
it.
We're gonna mute
You're in
the.
trouble, Nick. Nick,
We're
you're in
gonna mute
trouble.
the mic. We're gonna mute the mic. I don't want to hear I am tired of LSU baseball, basketball, football. Jonathan's got me rooting. Anything that says LSU, I'm rooting against it due to our guests who are about to bring on. Give it up for LSU. Super fan, alumni. His dad played there. I don't know, coach
Fan
there.
girl.
Give it up for Jonathan Grisham, everybody.
Yeah,
Jonathan.
Jonathan,
What up,
Jonathan,
John?
before everybody starts, do you want to have a solo with Nick for like 10 minutes and blast him about every?
Yeah, we'll let you do it.
You don't want to kiss the ring? You want to kiss the championship rings that we've been winning this year in college sports at LSU?
Are you there, Jonathan?
We can't hear you, John.
We can't hear. Oh, there he is. There he is.
Hear me now?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, I heard you.
No, we heard you the first time, bro.
All right, as I
Yeah.
said, it's the LSU's world, and y'all are all just living in it right now. You talk about
Exactly.
national champions and women's basketball and baseball, the number 1 pick and the number 2 pick in baseball. You know, the player of the year, the pitcher of the year. We have Joe Burrow. We have Angel Reese. What else do you want? What else would you like for me to talk about as far as for LSU? And we're going to win the national title this year in football. Calling it right now. Who's doing
No,
it?
you're not. No, you are not winning that. No,
Men's
you're
college
What's the-
basketball.
Scott, what's the plus money on that? It's got to be plus. What's the odds on LSU?
You're gonna make me look.
I haven't looked yet. To be honest with you, I wait.
I'll get you that number, Nick. I'll get you that number, Nick.
All right.
Yeah, I'll wait till. I
believe the LSU women with Angel Reese, and they got that gangster from Louisville. They just brought her in a transfer.
Haley Van Lith.
Yeah, she's. I believe the LSU women could probably run it back.
And you had Haley Van Lith was the number one transfer recruit. And then you had what was her name from Tulsa, the number 2 transfer recruit as well, join in. So LSU women's basketball stacked this year, absolutely stacked. It's gonna be a lot of fun down in the Bayou.
Other than that, you're a homer, and we know that. What's the reason you think LSU is going to win the Natty this year?
Because they're good.
I'll go like this. I'll go a little bit more in depth. What LSU did not have last year, and what they didn't have going into the last 2 years of Ed Orgeron's tenure as head coach, we have depth and quality depth now. You give Brian Kelly 2 years of recruiting, getting top 10 and top 8 type recruiting classes to a roster that was very, very thin on the defensive line, which we all know SEC, you can't be thin on the defensive line. They are now too deep again. When LSU has too deep on their D line, they are very dangerous. And you throw in a healthy defensive line that you got back right now on top of that, that's something I'm very excited to see. What does worry me on LSU is their secondary is very young right now, but the defensive line is going to be very scary right now. They are fast and big. The offense, I think Jaden Daniels is a Heisman potential. I'm not saying he's a favorite. I know that's Caleb Williams, but Jaden Daniels is going to push for votes for the Heisman. There's a lot of weapons on that offensive side. A lot of the running backs are very talented. They're going to put up a lot of points. We saw that at times this past year. With a first-year Brian Kelly, year 2 now, that offense is going to be really good. I think the defense is going to be a big factor. That they're too deep in the defensive line, and they're 2-3 deep on the linebacker core with Harold Perkins, who's probably the best defensive player in all the country. He's going to get some Heisman votes at some point this year too. He won't be in the conversation, but he will get some Heisman votes, as every now and then a defense player will.
So I looked it up, Tanner. LSU's got, according this is FanDuel, LSU's got the 5th best odds at plus 1,200.
Great. So that's your best odds, by the way. They open up at plus 1,800, plus 1,200 in FanDuel. Everybody else, DraftKings is plus 1,100, PointsBet, Caesars are plus 10 or 1,000, right? And there's not even bet in Sugar House right now. So there's that's your best bet though for LSU is in FanDuel currently. So get it while it's hot.
Plus 1,200. Before them, you got Michigan at plus 850, Ohio State at plus 700, Alabama at plus 600, Georgia at plus 220. So everybody's still on the Bulldogs.
You can get plus 230 over at Caesars and plus 650 for Alabama over at Caesars too, and plus 750 for Ohio State over in Caesars as well. Nobody cares about Michigan, so. By the way, did you say Jalen Daniels? Is that what I heard? The Red Chalk quarterback?
There's two Jaden Daniels. There's one down in LSU and there's one in Kansas. Not related, but there's 2 of them.
Yeah. They're both going to be good, so it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, but only one matters, and that's the one that plays in Baton Rouge.
The Rod Chalk Jayhawk who wins the national.
So, Jonathan, let me ask you this. Do you think they win over 9.5 games this year or under?
Oh, they win more. They win more than 9.5. They'll win more than that.
If they're winning the Natty, you got to take over 9.5.
Again, they
can win more than 9. So they could win 10 games and still not win a national title.
Yeah,
and not even make the playoff too. If you win 10,
the obvious scary game for us is in Tuscaloosa, which is always difficult for us to go down and go to there and play in that stadium. I would say that there's a lot of talk in Baton Rouge that Auburn scares us a little bit this year. I don't know if that's just a Hugh Freeze the conversation. Him being
on Tigers.
where he's kind of, he's always been a kryptonite to us when he was at Ole Miss. But I'm not necessarily afraid because I know they have a quarterback situation down there too right now as well. So I'm not necessarily afraid of Auburn. But obviously the Florida State game is going to be the big one. I think we're going to get revenge. We will get revenge against Florida State after last year where we lost by due to a botched extra point.
Yeah.
We're going to be a much better team. I think we're going to beat Florida State. I think we'll beat Florida State. I'll go if we beat Florida State by 7 points. I think we'll beat Florida State by 7. That'll send a message that this is going to be a good year. And I think we'll be undefeated going into the Alabama game.
Nice.
Yeah, because Georgia's schedule this year. If you guys look at Georgia's schedule, it's like cake. It's just cake.
They don't play They don't play nobody.
Yeah, so they could be 12-0 if they beat LSU easily. So,
Jonathan, I want to switch gears and ask you some baseball questions here real quick. Who the hell's winning these wild card games? I'm looking at the American wild card right now with Toronto a half game back, Boston's 3 back in the AL, plus you got Houston and the Rays are right there. Then the National League, man, it's 5 teams really with 1 game apart. You got my Cubs right there, only a half a game in the second wild card. You got the Giants, the Reds, Miami, Arizona. Like only 3 teams can get into those, and that's a lot of teams I just listed. Which one of these teams are getting in?
Well, we know, and I'm Johnny. I'm sorry, right now. We know it's not the Yankees. We know that.
Aaron Boone said that they are. Aaron Boone said they are, though.
Aaron Boone's lucky he still got a job, bro.
Aaron Boone has to say that just to keep it, just so he doesn't get fired before the season ends.
Right.
I mean, that's at some point. I think if once they get eliminated, I think that's it. He's done.
The Yankees don't even need to be talked about no more, bro. For real. There's no point.
Johnny, as long as you're on the show, the Yankees are always here to talk about.
Well, of course.
Eventually, you're just beating a dead horse, right?
Yeah. Your Twitter handle is literally Yankee Finn, so we're always going to talk about the Yankees as long as you're here.
Right now, the Yankees are doing their job. I need the Mets to do theirs to finish last, so I can pop bottles of champagne with you guys and celebrate last place New York team.
Jonathan.
96 scarred you, bro, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
I got bad news.
Hey, no, real quick as well. It was 99 World Series, Braves and Yankees. I kid you not, 9-year-old Jonathan. I went family vacation to Disney World during the World Series. We got swept out of the World Series, and my vacation was absolutely ruined. I wanted to go home. I wanted to leave Disney World early. Screw the Yankees, 100%. Absolutely.
That explains a lot.
He's like
okay,
he's like Thanos. Jonathan Grisham coming in, and he's
David
just like,
Peterson.
"What I do next? I'm gonna enjoy it."
He was at the happiest place on earth, and he was mad as a mother.
David Peterson beat the Braves tonight. David Peterson beat the Braves tonight. That's unbelievable,
bro. They gotta lose every once in a while, man.
The Mets,
I know.
They're up 10-4 in the bottom of the ninth.
It happens, bro.
I expected a sweep of the Mets and didn't get. We'll still take 2 or 3. That's all we gotta do is just stay 2 or 3. 2 or 3, we'll be fine to go. But in regards to the wild card, Rays, Astros, and I still think the Blue Jays over the Mariners. I know the Mariners, swept the Astros. I just don't buy into the Mariners that they're gonna keep it going. I think Julio Rodriguez is insanely hot right now hitting wise. I don't know if he's gonna be able to sustain that for the rest of the season. I kind of lean a little bit more with the Blue Jays. I think they're going to be a little bit better off going into the last month of the season. So I would go. It's going to be Rays, Astros, and Blue Jays going to be battling out for the wild card. I just don't really see the Mariners doing it. The Red Sox, no. I mean, the fact that they're still in the conversation is a damn miracle out in Boston. But I think it's going to be battle between the Blue Jays and Mariners. I'm going to side with the Blue Jays just a little bit over the Mariners to get into the wild card for the American League. For the National League, I'm trying to think of the same thing. It was the teams again. I'll give Nick a little bit of hope. I think the Cubs are going to make it. I think the Cubs are going to be pretty scary.
I'm nervous. Number one, it's the Cubs. And number two, now Stroman could be out for the year. Like, we didn't have a great, strong pitching staff already, and we just got to pray that Justin Steele shows up, and we're relying on guys like Drew Smiley and people of that. Like, I'm nervous. I don't like it. I don't like it.
I didn't know what happened. I haven't seen what happened with Stroman. What happened to Stroman?
He was already banged up from. He hasn't been the same. He got hurt in London, which was mid-July. He hasn't been the same. And then they put him on the DL, and then he was pitching like to warm back up, and then they rib cartilage, and they think he could be done for the year.
Yeah,
if that is the case, then yeah, I'll back off because I just don't. I think if you don't have your ace, and that is what Stroman is for the Cubs, you don't have him, you're going to be in trouble. So if that's the case, he's out for the year. Then yeah, the Cubs are going to be. There's not a good look to go into the last month of the season. I will still kind of say Chicago for right now. Philadelphia, again, for what they did to us last year in the postseason, to my Braves, they worry me because they can score. Pitching-wise, the pitching's been decent. It's gotten better. They get Michael Lorenzen, who threw a no-hitter and then gets shelled against the Nationals again later on. So they're up and down, but they've shown that they can get hot and be a dangerous team in the postseason. So they do worry me, as a wild card team. And I'm going to go with the Reds. I think the Cincinnati Reds will jump the Giants.
Them out yet? Nice. You're not counting them out yet? I already shot them and they're limping in the fours.
I don't buy in the Giants though. I don't buy into the Giants that they're gonna get it figured out.
What a metaphor, Tanner. Jeez, God. It's you and Dan Campbell with the Lions just come up with the craziest crap, I tell you.
John, you give Arizona no chance?
I was about to say, what about Arizona? You've been on Arizona all year.
I have been on Arizona all year, and then they fell off, and I kind of just said I feel like that was they're at their ceiling now. When they kind of fell off in that last bit over the last few weeks, they hit their ceiling. I think
7-3 in their last 10, bro.
They could get hot again. At this point of the year, it's not about the best team; it's about the hot team.
The hot team.
They can get hot again. If they do, they can make it. I mean, then they did what the Mariners did. They were a year ahead. I think the Diamondbacks are a year early right now. If they miss the postseason, it's not a failure for them because they were in it throughout the year. They were in it with the division race for a good portion of the summer. They've been in the wild card position. If they fall off and just miss the postseason, it's not a failure in Arizona because they're a year away from being able to say they're going to be a really good contender. If they make it, awesome. They skip that year of development to be in the postseason today now and really build themselves for a great 2024 going the next season. I just think they're still just a little bit of a year. I think they've reached their ceiling. If they catch fire and they get hot, then I think they can do it. But as far as for what I'm at, I lean to the Reds a little bit more. Reds pitch a little bit better, and they've gotten some good outings of their young pitchers right now. And again, Ellie De La Cruz. You talk about exciting young players, Corbin Carroll and Ellie De La Cruz for Diamondbacks and Reds. I mean, that's a bright future for both teams. That you got to sit back and be ecstatic if you're a Reds or Diamondbacks fan. But I'm going to go with the young cats in Cincinnati, with De La Cruz, with the young pitching staff that have actually really right now. To make that third spot, I don't buy in the Giants. I think they're same thing. They're overachieving, but they're not. I've never been excited about them and really getting themselves to be a postseason team this year.
Yeah, Jonathan, I want to ask you about shitty teams real quick. For instance, like the Royals. It's hot as fucking. It's hotter than Satan's asshole here in Missouri. It's 100. It was 100 plus today. What is a player? It's this fucking hot. You're 20 games below 500. No shot. You're in the dog days of summer. How do you even want to show up to work today? Because I mean, really, I'm just thinking I'm pulling a fucking hammy and hopefully.
I was gonna say you asking the wrong person, bro.
I'm asking the professional.
John is coming out there to ball. Regardless.
I know that, but how do you get your mind right? Because like that's what I'm asking. That's why I'm asking the professional athlete, Johnny. The rest of us are just a bunch of fat stooges. So
Facts.
Because you have a job to do, though. That's why. Like you have a job to do if you're a ball player and you're a young ball player. So again, your money is not really, it's guaranteed money in big leagues, but if you're a young player, your guaranteed money is not really going to hurt the club if they decide to move on from you. And so you're having to basically, Bobby Witt Jr. is really, for the Royals, he's the one of the few that can sit there and just say, hey, yeah, I got guaranteed money. I'm the face of the franchise. I can go and hey, I'll take a day off and whatnot. Everybody else around that, they don't have that luxury. So you have to go and ball out. And you have to do your job. It's tough. I will say that I've gone through that period of being on a bad team. I did that in college. It was, again, so in college, my senior year was a very miserable senior year. I'll say that. We were 850, absolutely horrible. But I showed up every day with the mindset because again, that was my senior year. I knew next year was going to be professional baseball for me. I had to develop the mindset of what it was like to be a professional. Show up, go get your work in, bust your ass every day, and play to your 100% as you can. Did it in pro ball too. I played on a team that was last place in our league in the minors. I knew I have to work my butt off to assure that I'm going to get a contract for next year or go somewhere else better for next year. Mm-hmm. And that was fit for me. So is it suck to lose? Absolutely. We're all competitors, and you don't want to go do that. You don't want to go do the ringer of having to lose those games and say there's nothing we can do. We're playing. We're hard. We're playing hard. We're trying, but we're just not a good team. You have the realization of that as a player. As a team, we're not good. It's going to be you are counting down the days. At this point of the year, if you're the Royals, if you're the A's, if you're the Nationals,
Rockies, they're dead last too, really.
You're counting down the days of when the season's over, but you still know you have to do a job. You still know you have to do your job to assure yourself a roster spot for next year if you're a young ball player. Because again, veterans are a little bit different for veterans. But even some veterans, we kind of see, will get DFA'd. And they're going to have to try to scramble to find a job again at some point, especially if their contract is not necessarily all that much. For the small market teams like the Royals, Royals have a small payroll compared to other teams. A's clearly have a small payroll. If you're part of those teams, you're not guaranteed anything for next season. So you have to be able to be a professional and play the game and go and do your job and do the best you can to put film on that if you get re-signed for next year or you go find a new team next year, that's what you're playing for. You're playing for an opportunity to continue to play the game at the major league level. And if a professional ball player understands that and it's going to go, and it sucks, but you have to still go do your job.
Listen, Nick, when you're in spring training and you have 85-year-old Zach Greinke as your number one starter, and you have Jordan Lyles who can't win more than 4 ball games in a year, you're in trouble.
Well, I asked Jonathan that same question at the beginning of the year. He said you just got to hope, maybe get some breaks, right? Things this and that. Maybe your major league, right? The movie, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but the same way.
At this point in time, it's hotter than shit. I don't even want to suit up in those hot fucking pants and the jersey. I'd rather just keep my ass in the clubhouse and drink ice cold beer.
Why don't
Listen, I've never been more happy. I've never been more happy to be on like a parent leave with the new baby than right now to be in a factory. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh yeah. Hey, I'll be trying to knock up 3 women to make sure every year if I'm on the Royals. At this time of year,
you're not guaranteed that roster spot if you're on a shitty team, right? You're not guaranteed that.
No.
You can get cut the next day and then be back in the minors for the next 10 years. So despite the weather, what the hell is going on? 190 degrees it is, humid.
Nobody's in the stands.
It don't matter because you're on a Major League Baseball roster and you want to try to stick there, Jonathan.
It's on tape, man.
Everything's on tape. Your effort, the way you show up to the game, your approach to it.
I understand what you're saying. You got to have that mental aspect.
Don't forget, when I was growing up in the 80s, the Royals had artificial turf. And you could see the steam coming up from that artificial turf in July and August.
And it wasn't even turf. Those were that carpet turf days where I'd say for me, if I had the opportunity, I'll go play for the Royals right now. I'll go play for the A's. I don't care. Give me a uniform. It's 115 degrees outside, 120 heat index. You give me a uniform, I'm gonna go play because it just meant that much to me. It meant that much to put the uniform on. And
I would ask, I would too, and but I would just ask, can we pull out the Reds jerseys, the red sleeveless jerseys? That's all I'm fucking asking. Like, you know what I mean? And I'd probably I'd probably go high sock and high pants just to get a little bit of air.
Remember the White Sox?
Were you the guy during high school summer league, the guy that walks up to the doubleheader into the other coach and be like, or to your coach and like, hey, can we just play 7? Can we just call it 7 or 9? Can we just play 9 and call it good?
I was the kid and sitting on the fucking bench because I couldn't hit a dick. I couldn't hit dick. So, I mean, it didn't fucking matter.
Remember the White Sox that one summer wore shorts? Remember they wore shorts? Their uniform it was ridiculous. Bad.
That's why I played basketball. It's air conditioning in the gym, Tanner.
It's a lot of running, though.
I was okay with it. I was okay with it. Stick my big fat ass in the post. It ain't that much running anymore.
Give me a diamond with dirt on it, and I'm a happy birthday. I don't care if it's 100 degrees, 120 degrees. Just don't make it be cold. I don't want to play in cold. I hate it. I'll play in 120 degree heat over 30 degrees any time of the day. I hate cold weather, and I get days in Missouri. My days in Missouri playing in March. Our non-conference games in college, it was 35 degrees or 30 degrees or 20 degrees, snow on the ground outside the ball field. I absolutely hated those days. Don't put cold weather around me. But you put me 120 degrees, I'm happy. I'll be fine. I'll survive.
I'll be out there.
That cold hurts, man.
Oh,
it does. I mean, it's beans. Yeah.
I said the coldest game I've ever played in was my first year in Missouri playing in college at Lincoln University. We had to play Nebraska, Omaha in Wichita, Kansas, because Omaha, Nebraska had 3.5 feet of snow. It was 10 degrees outside, and it was snowing outside. It was snowing too. And we played a double header on Saturday, and had to play, which we only played one game, and then we played 3 innings in game 2. We had to come back the next day, finish game 2, play game 3, and play game 4. All on Sunday. It was 6 degrees on Sunday.
Jonathan, are you like me? Like when you were playing ball, like you were not a layers guy. Like you see guys walking out, with the armband, the whole sleeves, and despite what the temperature is, and like I that's why I couldn't stand weather or cold weather because I would not wear armbands. I did not want stuff on my arms.
So after elbow surgery, I had to wear an arm sleeve to be able to for my arm to kind of stay warm and stay loose. So I had to wear a sleeve. When we had cold days, I wore the sleeve under my long sleeve thermal shirts and everything. But I wore one Under Armour shirt. I'm in the dugout. I'm putting my jacket on, but on the ball field, I just had my jersey. I didn't. We had teammates. I had teammates that wore our sweatshirts on the field. I couldn't do that. So in the dugout, I'll put my jacket on, whatnot, go on the field. I'm in my jersey, my long sleeve shirt. But I always had to wear an arm sleeve when I played just to protect my elbow. But yeah, I mean, that was on cold days. Yeah, I absolutely had to wear long sleeves on. I'm from Louisiana. I'm Southern. We don't deal with cold.
That's true. That's true.
I know you didn't pitch much. You didn't pitch in college, but as a pitcher, though, don't you want them cold, chilly nights?
No, you do not.
No,
you do not.
No,
it's
no,
hard
no.
to get going.
You don't.
Hard to grip the ball too, man.
As a hitter, So I hated cold, but as a hitter, I didn't mind facing because I know the pitcher, his arms are going to be struggling to get warm and stay warm. So the velocity was never going to be the same as it would be on a 95-degree day because he's going to struggle to get loose and stay loose at that time. He's going to, and I will get my pitches to hit. He's going to put it on his own. He's not going to be as accurate on the corner. So I knew I will hit well on a cold day. I just absolutely hated hitting on a cold day. It was just me personally. And then we had, wood bat on a cold day. It was miserable. Absolutely miserable. You miss hit by that much. You miss hit a ball with a bat by that much. You can't feel your hands. Absolutely.
Right. I don't know. I don't know how guys went with no batting gloves, bro, with the wood bats. Like I props to them, bro.
Oh yeah, I couldn't. I had to wear batting gloves. I did. I mean,
Moises Alou used to piss on his hands, Johnny. That's how he went without it. He used to piss on his hands to hard him up.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Yeah,
you didn't know that?
I'll put on some batting gloves, bro. I'm good.
His hands.
Yeah, with piss on his.
That's the Dominican secret. That's the Dominican secret about it. Is that again the science was to prevent to harden their hands and prevent calluses and blisters. Medically untrue, and you had a lot of people come out and say, "Hey, yeah, we've heard this, but it's not. That actually doesn't happen." So a lot of the Dominicans, a lot of Moisalu being one of them, and they just you're doing a placebo effect on pissing on your hands in that aspect of it. It's what they did, though. It's what they did, and it worked for them.
Mentally they thought it worked, so
they asked Dusty Baker once about Moises pissing on his hand. He says, "I don't know if he pisses on his hand, but guys are giving him the fist more than the high five lately." So that's.
Oh yeah, I said. I mean, you never got. I mean, that was a report. Moises never came out and actually admitted that that's what he did. It was a lot of people that say, "Oh yeah, he does it," but I mean,
nobody's gonna admit pissing on their hands. You know what I mean? Like
Moises was kind of crazy though. You remember that? Time, so he spoke his mind too. So, but I mean, give me good batting gloves. I mean, I'll be good. I could not have no batting gloves when I played and batted. Especially with the pitching getting up in the 90s and mid 90s like that.
Yeah.
Couldn't do
there, yeah.
It's very rare that guys don't wear batting gloves anymore. There's only a select few that do it.
Yeah.
But,
I'm not doing it. And I ain't pissing on my hands.
Stuff on their hands.
No, I'm good.
You should do that before a show, Nick, to see how it goes.
That's how I do it. That's when it gets ready. That's how I get the typing going.
He's gonna be like the little Giants kid, and he's gonna go.
The boss was saying, "Why does it smell like asparagus?" Why does
You guys smell that?
Sam's gone.
Jonathan, we'll get you out of here on this. What's up? What's next for Alpha?
Hey, we're starting up our fall practices, so we have 2 weeks of practices we're doing. We'll be competing in our first tournament for the fall next weekend. So right now we're just kind of getting things resituated with all our new players in, with our current players we've had stick around and continue building. So right now we're getting to work and we're playing our first tournament next weekend.
Nice.
Hey, Jonathan, I start this competitive 10 and under coaching gig tomorrow. So any first advice for the first practice?
For 10 and under, keep their attention as best you can. Drills. Do a lot of drills for 10-year-olds because you got to make sure you keep their attention span going. So, fast pace, make them have to run a little bit and keep their attention going, and a lot of teaching for this. That way they can kind of go. At that age, they butterflies.
Hell, that's me now. I mean,
I would say, Tina, you do a show with Sam and JG. I think you'll be all right with dealing with 10-year-olds.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much what I got. A lot of basic, a lot of drills,
up in the sky.
Keep it going. So cool.
Yeah, drills. Just a lot of drills. Keep it fast paced. Keep their attention going, and that's be the best thing that I can say for that. I mean, hell, I still do that with some of my older kids, but for that age, just make it fun. Do some little games. Like we did a lot of stuff like that when I was younger. My dad was my coach. We did games like drills that were games. We did what's called a hat drill, teaching them how to be able to be accurate on their throwing. So you put your hat on the ground, group on the foul line. They're throwing partners about 60, 70, 80 feet. And they have to back up 5 feet, and they have to throw at the hat. And so he's teaching them to throw the ball downward, not throwing rainbows at that age, but you're teaching them how to throw it downward, but you're also teaching them how to be able to be accurate with their throws. So it's a game. Keep track. Hey, we're going to do this for 15 minutes or 10. Do it for 10 minutes. Whoever hits the hat the most gets half conditioning or whatnot. For 10-year-olds. And then, like I said, they're doing a game. They're excited. They're having fun with doing it, but they're also getting better and learning how to be able to make good throws throwing to a target.
Tanner, I like to play the game Who's Got the Hot Mom, and that's what they think my favorite
game. When I did high school rec, my head coach, he played that game a lot.
Oh, man.
You want to know how to play the Who's Got the Hot Mom game, Tanner? I can tell you that one if you want.
Don't do it, Nick.
I've seen it in action, so I'm good. I appreciate it, though. the kid left. So,
Jonathan, we appreciate you joining us every Monday. We best of luck to you guys at practice this week as you guys get ramped up for a new season, incredible season. We'll see you next Monday. We appreciate it, brother.
Good luck with the tournament, man.
Appreciate y'all.
Yep.
Bye, Jonathan.
We'll see you next Monday. Give it up for Jonathan Grishman, baby.
Yeah.
All right, Nick.
I hate the
Nick,
Tigers.
So how do you play that game?
Well, what I like to do is say, I get all the kids gathered up and I say, okay, who's got single moms? And they all raise their hand. And I look at the best looking kid and be like, all right, his mom's got to be hot. I'm like, which one's your mom? I need to talk to her after practice. Get your special playing time.
You've been a bad boy.
Oh shit. Well, hey, let's Johnny, let's go ahead and start saying our final goodbyes. Sam's got to tend to the baby boy soon.
Do we have another read to do?
He's still asleep.
No, I did all my reads, man. Stop making me read so much. Final thoughts, man. Another fun Monday. This was a blast today. That line about not being able to hit, Nick, that was insane, bro.
Let me tell you a funny story.
To me.
Here, I tried out for my high school baseball team. I'm gonna give you, this is my high school baseball career right here. So my buddy texts me, says, hey, we got practice, first day of practice. I live 6 miles out of town. I tell my parents, hey, I got practice at 9 a.m. They're like, well, we got to work at 6 a.m. So figure it the fuck out. So I ride a bike. Mind you, my bike has a flat tire, crooked fucking handlebars. 6 miles I'm riding this fucking bike into fucking town. I get to practice. They're like, do you have a physical? I was a freshman. I didn't even know I needed a fucking physical. I was like, physical for what? They're like, you got to have a sports physical to practice. I'm like, no. They're like, well, you can't practice. I'm like, well, fuck. So then I had to ride my broke ass fucking bike back 6 miles into fucking town, fucking then get a back home, I had to go get a physical later that day, get a physical.
Both ways.
I get a physical. I go to practice. I'm there for like 4 days. They're like, hey, at the end of the week, we got to make cuts. We don't have enough. I got cut from my high school baseball team, ended my career right then and there. I can't hit.
4 days. You got 4 days.
I couldn't hit worth shit. Yeah. That's it. That's my high school baseball career.
Womp, womp, womp.
All right, but yeah,
I go check the list. I go check the list, and my name's not on it. So I knock on the door. I'm like, hey, coach, you forgot to put my name on it.
Yeah, let's have a chat, bud.
How'd that go?
He said, he said, he ain't make it. I said, what do you mean I didn't make it? You didn't put my name on the list.
I'm that dude. What are you talking about?
I'm Bodkins.
There's a reason I tell him, now I see I could have made it to the pros if it wasn't for him. That's what I say.
He held you back, man. He held me back.
The shoulder. Instead of the shoulders.
That's what final thought. Shout out to Dan Harris, the super producer, the man behind Let's Talk Sports, the man that built this all up. Not feeling really good, so all the positive energy, good vibes that we can all send to my boy, please send them out to him. We're thinking about you, Dan. Again, fun day today. Check out the Johnny Cruz show. I went on a massive rant about the pitiful ass Yankees. I also talked a little bit about the Ahsoka show that premieres tomorrow night, 9 p.m., 2-episode premiere. So definitely check that out if you're into Star Wars at all. And then Let's Talk Miami Dolphins tomorrow at 8 o'clock. So check out the Aqua and Orange talk. That's going to be happening tomorrow with my boy Alex. I'm just looking forward to another good week of shows, man. Having a lot of fun with this.
Scott, go ahead and give us who we're betting on tomorrow.
Yes, Scott.
Yes.
First
Scott,
of all, let's
talk
money, Dolphins with Johnny will go on another rant and rave about preseason football.
Is that what you're doing? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what.
Well, everybody and their mothers getting hurt, bro.
I know that.
It's like we just keep losing people, bro.
Everybody's losing people. It's a little crazy right now, but
the Patriots canceled their joint
what happened
practices.
with Terry? What happened with McLaurin?
It's good serious, dude.
Good job, Alan. Good job,
Terry. He just injured his toe.
Yeah.
X-rays are negative. He's good. He's fine. Don't worry about it. He'll be ready.
Okay, good. I was
but,
about to say,
sleep is,
I just picked him.
Sleep is acting like he's got two broken legs right now. So.
Well, it's because he got carted off, aka he walked off actually. So that's fine.
Everybody's getting carted off. You notice that these days? It's every update is like, when back in like even like 2 years ago, if somebody got carted off, you're like, oh shit, that's serious. Like now it's
now
it's just like, yo. Now it's like, yo, it's hot as hell out here. I don't want to have to walk back. Just drive me on the cart, man.
Just bring the cart.
They got a hangnail. Bring the cart. The cart. Get the hangnail. And then you got rap shit out there or Shefty. Joe Burrow was carted off today, and then it's like, what happened with Joe? Everybody's freaking out. He just had a hangnail. He'll be okay, you guys.
Yeah, his toenail. His toenail fell off, so he has to be carted off.
Who was it? Scott, who was it that got carted off?
Get me a cart
because he had to go to the bathroom. He take a poop.
Wasn't it Lamar?
I remember Lamar Jackson running.
No,
yeah,
he
just ran off.
He got carted off. I think he just ran off.
He just ran off. Trying to loosen up his pants as he's running down the hallway.
Somebody got carted off last year,
but he wasn't pooping
really bad. And then he ran back on the field, and everybody's like, "Did he get?"
It was Lamar. Yeah, it was Lamar.
Yeah, it was Lamar. A Monday night game like 2 years ago.
Holding up his pants as he's running in the locker room. Yeah,
he did. Paul Pierce did that with. Remember when Paul Pierce shit himself
and he flying in the first.
Yeah, he rolled his ass in the the Eastern Conference Finals, Scott, I think. And they're like,
NBA Finals, I want to say. He had a wheelchair. They wheelchaired him out, and then like 2 seconds later, he came back with a knee brace running out of the tunnel or whatever.
Yeah, and he was
that was so fake. That was so fake.
Yeah, he shit himself.
That was not the truth there, Mr.
Final thoughts very quickly. Three bets. Braves money line
against
next. Braves money line against Mets. Pirates money line against Adam Wainwright and the Cardinals because Adam Wainwright can't win a game to save his life. And Arizona over Texas. Arizona's got Zach Gallen pitching tomorrow night, so I like that.
So all three money lines?
All three money lines.
All right, cool.
All three money lines. So final thought is great show as Monday nights as usual with Jim and Jonathan. Looking forward to as we continue our draft. We're in the fourth round right now. Hopefully it'll get over before September 7th because that's and D plus, me and Tanner in the D plus club, Nick Bodkins in the D minus club. So welcome to the low end territory.
Wow.
Please get degrees, baby.
Right.
It's not so bad once you get used to it.
It's
a D minus is a passing grade, bro.
Oh, hey. Sam, I forgot to tell you, I won some money on Malik Willis and the Titans beating the Vikings the other night. So.
Oh, good. I mean, Malik Willis didn't have anything to do with it, but
you know that.
I was about to say, damn, Scott.
God, that guy's bad.
He threw for what, 85 yards in the game?
85 yards. 85 yards. And he's still overthrowing people and hesitating before he throws the ball.
Did he really play the whole game?
He played the whole game. Yeah, Levis participated in pregame, which makes me think that he could have played, and they just wanted to get a big look on Malik Willis. Vrabel is notorious for doing this kind of crap. So, yeah, that's how it goes.
Everybody's saying Malik Willis has got the number 2 job, basically. I don't know.
I wouldn't count on that, Scott, to be honest with you.
I don't believe either after what I saw.
Jayhawks, baby. Todd Reesing, Mark Mangino.
No.
Taking care of business in the
Orange Bowl. Stop, bro.
Bobby G, the greatest college football team is like the 99, 2000, the Hurricanes.
That had like 20-something first-round draft picks, bro.
Yes.
Yeah, there's no way Jayhawks would have tore them.
When their running back room is consistent, Willis McGahee, Clinton Portis, like that. Right. That they're deep. They could have not scored an offensive touchdown and still won like 10 games. That's what I've read. That team was insane. That's the greatest college football team. Sam, you got any final thoughts?
Prove you wrong.
Sure. Keep your positive vibes, prayers, and everything going towards my wife and I as we continue to go through this. My shift ends at midnight, about 12:30 tonight, so I'm holding down the fort. He hasn't made a peep, which means as soon as I shut this laptop, he's going to go absolutely batshit crazy.
Everybody keep talking. We're going to extend the show just for Sam so the baby keeps sleeping until midnight.
Just sweating. Yeah. So let's just go ahead and do all the divisions, and then we're going to grade each quarterback. No, I'm just kidding. Football is right around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting preseason games, feeling it. Love it. Happy to be a part of it. I hope there's something in your lives that you're all looking forward to. If it's not football, but why wouldn't it be football? I mean, come on. And yeah, I mean that's what I think. Find that something to look forward to. It gets you through some hard times.
Go ahead, Tanner.
Double guns. Pew 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 pew.
I don't have a lot. Just shout out Dan. You know, hope it's all right. You know,
shout out.
Keep it,
you can shout me out too, Tanner, but you won't do it.
Shout out Sam and his busy life schedule too. So
yeah,
for sure.
There will be a new name for the Let's Talk Sports Show starting in 2 weeks from Thursday. It will be the Let's Talk Cooking Show with Julia Childs and Emerald Lagasse will be on.
Would you like my sweaty balls?
No. My final thought is don't blindly be a truther. That's all I'm gonna say. Like if everybody in the world thinks that one player on your team fucking sucks, then chances are
you going on this again?
Yeah, I'm going on this again because I didn't do this here and I'm doing it here. Don't be a truther,
folks. Have a good night.
Yeah, don't be a truther. Just if everybody says he sucks, the team says he sucks, and he's not getting first round reps, and he's not getting second round reps, there's a reason. It's because they've seen enough. So you don't have to continue to bump the thing. It's okay to sit back and say, hey, I was wrong. I was wrong about it. We've all been wrong before. It's okay to say it. Dead. People want to continue to just bump and blame everybody else. But guess what?
Testify.
We're all laughing at you, my friend. It's okay to say you were wrong. It's okay to say you were wrong. With that being said, let's get out of here. We'll be back Thursday night. Bo Talks Football joining us. Right, Tanner?
Yes, NFC West. NFC
West preview this Thursday, 8 o'clock Central, 9 Eastern. Be a friend. Tell a friend. Oh, put a name on it. You want me to put a name on it, Bobby G?
No, we're not putting a name
on it. Hit that outro.
No.
Hit that outro, Tanner.
I can't put a name on it. There's a
better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No 9-5, no mean boss. Just my life and free thoughts.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way. What I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try to change, you can say no, free me.